Tanya Rodriguez. The speech that I chose was by Hillary Clinton, and it's called Women's Rights Are Human Rights. The purpose of this speech is to give women from around the world a voice. Hillary Clinton says what women want everyone to know. She tells their stories, she admits their fears, addresses their concerns, and praises their accomplishments. According to Hillary, women account for half of the world's population, and women also make up 70% of the poorest population. The importance of this speech is to speak for women. She speaks for women that are making minimum wage. She also speaks for women who can't afford health care for themselves and for their children. She speaks for women whose lives are threatened daily by domestic violence. And she also speaks for women who are fighting for better lives for their children. Public speaking techniques that Hillary uses throughout her speech would be she has a very clear and understandable voice. She looks at her audience throughout the whole speech, and she seems to have her speech memorized. She makes a lot of eye contact with her audience and only very briefly looks down at her notes, basically just to catch where she is throughout her speech. Hillary doesn't use many emotions throughout her speech. Her voice seems to use the same tone throughout her whole speech. She doesn't seem to get sad or excited throughout her speech. It just seems to be the same tone. The audience that Hillary was speaking to was mostly women. The women of the audience seemed to have enjoyed the speech. They clapped and they seemed to be listening to what she had to say throughout her whole speech. They seemed very involved and interested in what she had to say. The impact of her speech for me would be that it had a big impact. I felt emotionally attached to the speech because at one point in my life I was a single mom, and a lot of the issues that she addressed throughout this speech affected me at that time. The speech made me feel that she really understood where women are coming from. She seemed to be almost emotionally attached to what she was saying because she addressed a lot of the issues and the concerns that I had for not only myself but for my children. The techniques that I'd use for a speech of my own that Hillary used would be I would make sure that I had a clear voice when given my speech. I would rehearse my speech to make sure that I knew what I was saying, and I would also make sure that I knew the information that I was giving. I would make sure that I researched it and that I knew what I was talking about. I found that Hillary's speech was very informative. I learned a lot from it, and I also feel that Hillary believed in what she was saying. Hillary used a lot of good public speaking techniques that I hope one day that I can learn and use them myself. She seemed to have kept the audience very interested in what she had to say, and hopefully this speech will inspire everyone to appreciate women a little bit more.